My name is Ashley Jackson, age 38. My husband, James, is an engineer who works at a huge company. My daughter, Sam, is a junior in high school. She's a bit difficult right now, but finally, the three of us will be moving into our own home. Due to my husband's job, we would always move around a lot after 2 to 3 years of living in one area. Finally, those days are over after he got a better job. We can finally relax in just one location without any worries. Sam, who had to go through moving from school to school all her life, always being the new girl, can finally make friends with the mindset of not having to leave them behind. Moving around was an interesting experience, but I'm so glad we can finally stay in one area.
That's right. Hope the three of us can have a nice life, living in this home.
As my husband and I continued to talk, Sam came downstairs. Mom, Dad, I started new school again. Do you think I'll be able to make new friends? Of course you will, honey. Your smile is the most precious thing in the world, and the others will love you even more for it. You'll have friends in no time.
Your mother is right, but remember, no guy friends allowed.
What? Dad, that's so unfair. It might be weird to say it ourselves, but we get along so well together. As I hope that this closeness between our family continues, I fell asleep on the first night at our own home. The next day, after sending my husband and daughter off to their respective responsibilities, I decided to take on an important mission. That mission is introducing myself to our neighbors, which is the most important thing that can be done. Making sure I look presentable, I grabbed the gifts I had prepared for this occasion and went out. I started with the house directly next door to ours. Good morning, I'm Ashley Jackson. I moved into the house next door yesterday, I said as I rang their doorbell. A few seconds later, a petite-looking woman opened the door. Nice to meet you. Please accept this gift, I said as I handed over the gift bag. Nice to meet you, Mrs. Jackson. My name is Catherine Smith, but please, call me Catherine, she responded with a friendly smile. Truth be told, we just moved into this neighborhood just last month, so I'm not familiar with everyone here. Oh, really? Would you mind if I call you by your first name? She suddenly asked. Oh, sure. Ashley, would you like to be my friend? Friends? Oh, yes, of course. I couldn't decline her, so I had no choice but to become friends with Catherine. Although, I couldn't help but think that she was a bit strange. I might not be able to get along with her much. After that strange encounter, I managed to introduce myself to the rest of my neighbors without a hitch. As I was walking back to my home, I noticed from afar that somebody was standing on my porch. I rushed back home to find that it was Catherine, who was standing on my porch. Ashley, you're finally home, she says with a smile as she pulls out what seems to look like a postcard. I'm gonna host a welcome party for you guys. What? A party for us? Yep. Make sure to come to my house next Sunday with your family. Oh, well, I gotta ask my husband and daughter if they can make it first. There isn't any work or school on Sunday. They should be able to make it. Make sure your husband comes along. Here's the aviation card, she says as she all but forces the card in my hand and leaves. What should I do? A party out of nowhere like this is crazy. No matter how much I think it over, I can't think of a good answer. I decided to discuss this with my family later that night. After telling them about what happened from the introduction to the party invite, my daughter spoke up. That's our neighbor, Miss Smith, right? That's right. Do you know them? Yeah. A girl at school who I became friends with is the daughter of Mrs. Smith. Her name is Cassie, Sam continued excitedly. It's so nice of them to want to throw us a welcome party. We should go. After hearing that, James and I couldn't say no.
If Sam's new friend is there, then we have to go. It's true. If she's your friend, then we should go.
With that, the three of us agreed to attend the party our neighbor hosted. On the day of the party, we rang their doorbell and introduced ourselves. Welcome! Come in, come in. Catherine welcomed warmly. we were led to their living room. "Sam, you're here. Let's play games in my room," Cassie called over to Sam. The two girls disappeared upstairs, leaving us adults here.
Thanks for inviting our family over. I figured we could all enjoy some wine as we talked.
James said as he held up a bottle of wine. "Oh my, what an amazing husband you have there, Ashley," Catherine said as she prepared 3 wine glasses for us. "Wait, is your husband not here with us?" "Yeah, my husband had to leave us behind for work, so it's just me and Cassie here right now," Catherine explains.
That's unfortunate. If there's anything you need, I can try to help as best as I can.
James offered. "Well, how kind of you. Thank you. Well then, let's raise a toast to our meeting," she says as she clicks her glass and my husband's glass together. Wait, what? It's almost like my presence here was just completely disregarded. At the time, I decided not to think too much into the encounter. "I prepared some food for you guys. Make sure you eat a lot, okay?" Catherine says as she sets the table up with different dishes. The kids came downstairs to eat the delicious food. It was such a fun time with everyone. Time flew by so fast, the next thing I know, it was already late. We said our goodbyes and went back home.
I have a meeting this morning, so I'm going to have to leave a bit early.
Dad forgot something again. I think I can catch up to him now, so I'll go deliver it, Sam says as she rushes out the door as well. After a while, she comes back home in complete silence. "Sam, you're back? Did you manage to catch up with your father?" Yeah, I did and I handed it to him. I'm gonna head to school now," Sam says before silently walking out. That was strange. She seemed a bit off at the time, but by the time she got home, she was back to her usual self. Maybe it was just my imagination. It was indeed not just my imagination, I later learned. The problem was not anything I could have expected. A few days later, my husband asks a strange question.
Hey, don't you think Sam is acting a bit off lately? It feels like she's avoiding me for some reason. Have you noticed anything?
I just think she's just acting like anyone her age would. We shouldn't think too far into it.
If that's all it is, that's fine, I guess. Oh yeah, by the way, I have to go on a business trip tomorrow. I know it's kinda sudden, but they just sprung it on me.
Really? That's rather unusual.
Yeah. Sorry to leave you like this, but make sure you look after Sam, alright?
James left on his 3-day business trip the next day. That night, as I was lounging in the living room, I heard yelling coming from upstairs. "Mom, come here please! Hurry!" Sam yells from upstairs. Startled, I rushed upstairs to her room. "What happened, Sam?" "Look!" Sam points from atop her bed, hands shaking. On the floor was a lamp that I have never seen before. "Mom, that lamp has a mic on the bottom. It's a wire!" That lamp is just like the one Cassie has. Catherine had gifted Sam one as well. Sam continued to explain that, after receiving the lamp, Cassie started to know her secrets. "I asked her why she knew those things, and she said that her mother told her these things. It started happening around the time I got this lamp, so I decided to look at it and found a small card-like thing inside of it," Sam explained, frightened. She decided to search up what this card-like thing was and found out that it was a wire. Looking at the lamp closely, I can see what she was talking about. Why would Catherine do something like this? I for the life of me could not think of a reason why she would. Who decides to spy on somebody's kid like that? I decided that I should focus on my terrified daughter more and went back to the living room with my daughter. After a bit of silence, my daughter told me of something that happened recently. "Mom, please don't freak out when I tell you this." "I won't. What is it that you want to tell me?" "I happened to see Dad and Cassie's mom kissing a while back." "Huh? When did you see this?" "Remember when Dad forgot something at home? I saw them, but then Cassie's mom saw me. I got scared and went back home." "Oh, So that's why you looked a bit troubled when you came back that day. I'm sorry for not saying anything earlier. I just didn't know what to say, Sam explained before bursting into tears. It's okay, dear. I'm sorry for not noticing that you were troubled as well. I'm not sure if we were scared, or sad, or we were just so frustrated, but we sat there crying together. Eventually, that hopeless feeling turned into an uncontrollable rage. The cause of that affair had to have developed from that party Cassie hosted for us. She was getting along a little too well with James at the time. I definitely won't forgive those two for this. We decided to start planning our revenge on the two. As we were planning what to do, our doorbell rang. As I looked through the peephole, I saw Cassie and a man standing outside. Sorry for bothering you guys so late at night. I wanted to talk to you both about something. Terrified, I opened the door. Good afternoon, ma'am. Cassie, who is this with you?
Sorry for the intrusion. I'm her father.
The man responds. I felt that they had something very important to discuss, so I invited the two in. Mrs. Smith? Sam? I'm so sorry, Cassie said as she started to cry.
You did nothing wrong, Cassie. It's all your mother's fault.
Her father said before turning to us and explaining everything. It turns out that Catherine is a completely boy-crazy woman. She has been an active participant in many affairs of taken men. After being threatened with divorce if she continued, they moved to the house next door last month to start over.
Just as we moved, my job required me to leave them behind. Today, I got a call from Cassie telling me that her mother is cheating on me again. Not only that, but with the father of her closest friend. I immediately rushed back here after hearing the news.
Oh my.
May I ask where your husband is?
He's on a 3-day business trip.
And just as I thought, Catherine said she was going on a 3-day trip with some friends.
In my head, I knew it was strange that James suddenly had to go on a business trip. To think that he made that up to go and cheat on me. After hearing all of this, I had to check on how my daughter was doing. Sam, are you okay? I'm okay now, Mom. What about you? Are you okay? That's right. We already cried everything out just moments ago. Just as I was going to ask what we should do now, Sam spoke up. Cassie, you're my best friend. Let's keep being best friends regardless of the situation, okay? Sam, thank you so much. The only ones at fault here are the two who decided to cheat. This shouldn't affect you guys at all. Let's plan our revenge on them with the 4 of us. We spent the entire night planning. We finally came up with the best possible revenge on both of them. The next day, we started to get our plan ready. Nobody complained about their lack of sleep. After some time, we managed to set up a camera in my living room. As we were deciding what to do with the wire in my daughter's room, Cassie's father spoke up.
Is that wire, perhaps, Catherine's doing?
It likely is, I said and explained how she likely gifted Sam a wired lamp.
You see, this isn't the first time she did this. Catherine has had trouble with the police before.
It seems like Catherine, being an extremely jealous person, plants wires within the household of the person she cheats with. She's terrifying. I was finally happy and hopeful that we could continue to live as a happy family in our own home here. Why did this have to happen? We all had our respective roles in this revenge plan. The first step in our plan fell to Sam, who texted James. Hey Dad, we're planning on our welcome party right now. We're planning the same type of thing as Cassie's mom did for us. Get home safely, okay, Dad? Perfect. Cassie sent the same type of text to her mother as well, and the two waited on the responses. Later that night, the two of them were at our home.
I'm back!
James yelled as he entered the house. Thanks for having me, Catherine called out, following James.
Huh? Nobody's here. Where'd they go?
Maybe they went out for some groceries, since we're alone. Catherine trailed off. We were watching the two interact from a different room. My patience wore out more quickly than I had expected. What are they doing? The nerve of the two of them. I barged into the living room, interrupting their session. Welcome back, dear. Hello, Catherine. Glad you can make it. I watched as they both scrambled to fix their clothes.
You have a home?
Catherine's husband decided to make his presence known as well.
Catherine, what do you think you're doing here?
What are you doing here? Catherine exclaimed before attempting to run away. Before she could reach the door, both Cassie and Sam blocked her. Mom, please stop this. You're the worst, Dad. The room fell silent for a brief moment. Both Catherine and James, not grasping what was going on, started to blabber nonsense.
I came home from a business trip only to be involved in a bad prank.
I heard I was invited to a party. What is the meaning of this? These two are seriously the worst. We know about what's going on between you guys, I said before explaining everything, starting with how Sam saw the both of them kissing to the camera we set up in the living room. It was then they finally understood what was happening.
Cassie, I told you that I'd get a divorce if you cheated again, didn't I?
I'm sorry.
Also, why would you wire a present for Sam? You have serious problems.
I'm sorry. As that conversation was occurring, the police arrived at our house.
Catherine Smith, we have reports stating you set up a wired device in somebody's home. Please come with us to the station.
I'm sorry. Please, somebody help. We watched as she got dragged away by the police. Through all of that, James was only worried about himself.
So, what's going to happen to me?
He sheepishly asked. Divorce, of course. Be prepared to pay everything I'm owed. Seeing as he had no means to defend himself, James readily signed the papers. With the money that he gave us, we moved away to a different state, to an apartment. At least the mission of introducing myself to the neighbors was easier than last time. Cassie also moved in with her father near a lake, and they spend the weekends fishing from early in the morning. The two girls, having become close friends now, have to live far apart from each other. And thanks to the action of their parents, had to go through so much pain. Aside from that, the two girls still keep in contact, and due to going through such a thing together, resulted in them becoming even closer. I hope their friendship lasts forever.